Well, I think it's good. I think to understand, Indiana and just what it's all about, and the recruiting and knowing. First of all, you start with this state. You do a good job within this state. We mentioned that. Then the surrounding states. You get into Ohio. We've got a lot of good players out of Ohio. Michigan. He got good players. He's going to go up there. He's going to go to Illinois and get a good base. Then he can go out and kind of spot recruit. He mentioned Florida, and places that he knows that he can go and recruit and maybe hit spots that maybe positions maybe that he's not getting in this Midwest part. So he understands that, and I think that's real good too. Because that again is a hub. You got to recruit. You got to do an effective job, and I know he will. Coaches have a lot of respect for him.
Did Fred lean on you at all about just his either Kevin's qualifications or?
Well, I knew Kevin, and Fred asked me about him, and I said, I know he's a darn good football coach, and I knew him through Randy Walker, and Randy, of course, played for me. He mentioned that too, and Randy had such great respect for him, for Kevin. So when Fred asked me, about Kevin, I said, well, I know he's a quality, first of all, person, good family man, and I know he's a darn good football coach. And so without question, he's a guy I know you have to certainly take a good hard look at. When we discussed that, right. He called and we talked back and forth, and we talked about, Kevin. Yeah. We shared other people too, but right. Certainly when he mentioned Kevin, I said, I know the guy's a darn good football coach.
So we got the guy we wanted, and I'm really excited about it. You said that Chuck Ninus was the one that pointed Wilson out to you. Is he a guy that you followed at all before on his career path? Just
No. That's the purpose of having a good guide. I mean, you go out in the river, you need the fisher guy to tell you where the good fishing holes are, and I was determined that I was going to run the process and not delegate it. I think that was very important. But I also think it'd be malpractice to go out there without a trusted guide. And I think he's the best guy. He surfaced some good guys, did a lot of help on due diligence, opened some doors. All the calls get returned, and early on surfaced a guy who I think is going to be fabulous.
Fred, was there anything you had to get clarified? I know there was a 2005 infraction down there. Did you have to ask him about what exactly that was and sort of resolve that in your own mind first?
Well, the main thing I'll say is Kevin Wilson's reputation is one of the good guys in compliance. We did a lot of due diligence with him at every institution where he had been. This is candidly one of the places where Julie Cromer comes in really handy, because she's a nationally known figure with the NCAA, nationally known in compliance. She can get in the nooks and crannies of the compliance world, and not only did he get a clean bill of health, but he was identified as a real model in terms of compliance with NCAA rules. We talked about the importance of compliance. I was aware that there was a secondary violation, but if the litmus test was to get somebody that didn't have a secondary violation, then there'd be like nobody in the pool, because as you guys know, but maybe others don't, secondary violations happen relatively frequently. I mean, at a place here, we have like 30 a year, and that's considered healthy, because if you're not, believe me, the secondary violations are happening. The issue is whether you're creating an environment where the coaches are comfortable reporting them and you are reporting. So having a decent number shows that you've got a system that works. Kevin was involved in one that was reported as a secondary violation, and that did not give me pause, given that we had gotten a more definitive report that in the compliance world he's considered to be one of the good guys.
Coach, the baseball stadium, things like that are still hanging over your head. You said this is coming, or his salary is coming from different funding sources. Is there anything to read into there in terms of delaying the baseball field or delaying any other projects around the athletic project?
No, absolutely not. We're full steam ahead on baseball, softball. That is a project that I've been trying to create a funding structure for quite some time. I think we're on a path to get that done that was consistent with where we were before. We had to make a change in the football program. I do think it's very important that these dollars are from a steady revenue stream that aren't tied to attendance at basketball or football or anything like that. That'll all be gravy. That'll all help the entire department. That tide will rise all boats. But as I've talked about over and over again, football is so critical to the rest of the department in terms of resources and attention that I think spending that windfall, if you will, the additional monies we were able to take out of an existing relationship with Learfield, and additional monies from our existing relationship with the Big Ten are wisely focused on football.
I know that it's a case-by-case basis on things, but is there any hesitation at all because the last hire that you guys made from Oklahoma didn't work out all that well?
No, I mean, that'd be like saying nobody should hire somebody that's been in Indiana because Kelvin Sampson had been here. You know, Kevin is everything you see, man. I mean, he's the Bob Stoops tree. He's the Randy Walker tree. He's Bill Mallory, Terry Hepner roots. Gets the A+ from compliance folks at every institution he's been, including the NCAA. So he's the real deal, and I don't think that sort of accidental association should matter, and it did matter to me.
Have any of the former assistants expressed a desire to stay?
Well, I've left it with when I met with all the assistants the day after the press conference last Sunday and said, look, it's up to the new coach whether he talks to you guys, interviews you guys, or hires you guys. I'm good. I'm going to hold the new guy accountable. I'm not going to tell him what to do. And so I think Kevin will make his judgments on that, and I'll leave that up to him.
Does he have full hiring and firing powers then?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. As long as they pass the muster on compliance, character, and academics, he can hire whoever he wants, and then I'll hold him accountable.
For the speed of this, I don't know what your game plan was it faster than what you anticipated?
No, I had hopes. My hope was that we would name somebody early this week, even back last Sunday. Now, I said and I meant that we would get the right guy before we get the fast guy, but I also wasn't above kind of lowering expectations a little bit because you never know what's going to happen. And if I hadn't found Kevin Wilson, we may or may not be here today. So my expectation was to go fast. I felt like I had done the appropriate contingency planning before I had to make the decision with Coach Lynch. I'm glad I had done that because Kevin's name arose early. I was able to start working on that, and I kind of went through the litany of how the week went. And if I wasn't focused on a good guy, we'd be out there floundering, and we couldn't do that at Indiana University. We had to identify the right guy and get it, and that's what we did.
And then you just kind of alluded this, how important, because of the stability of the program that it needs, that this is the right guy.
Yeah, absolutely. I shared with you guys in the press release the description I put out there of why I think this is such a good job. Because I wasn't only evaluating people, I was recruiting them. Because of a little bit of our checkered history, I think you've got to explain to people why this is a good job, and that's what we tried to do. And I think it got a lot of people's attention. And a key part of that is stability, that the president's here through 2017, that this is the last job I want to have. I'm not a roving minstrel athletic director trying to get to the next place. I mean, this is the only place I want to be. So I think that was attractive to some people who understand stability. And I had several coach candidates tell me that other coaches had told them, look at the president's contract to see how long he's going to be here, find out his commitment to football, and that was really a big plus with President McRobbie. And I think the balance of what we're able to describe for the program, really helped us.